What is up, the Fox Army Nation? I'm your host, MLG Foxy. Let's get right into the programming. So, for today's first lesson, we're going to be learning about getting data from MLG HTML forms. That's Keemstar for you. So, in this episode, we're going to be learning about how to get data from HTML forms and actually use it on the website so the user can submit data and we can read it and we can do stuff with it. So yeah, that's gonna be super cool. So just head over to your Comic Sans and use the best font in the world. Okay, so after you do your Comic Sans, just go into your form and go to test.php again. And I just deleted all the code from multidimensional and associative arrays because we don't need it. But yeah, so what we're going to be learning about is getting data from HTML forms, and we need an HTML form. We already have one on this page, but we'll get to external HTML forms in just a bit. And we're going to build an internal one. So if you guys have Emmet installed, or you are just really familiar with HTML, you can do this either way. You can do form inside your, we're going to be typing out some Emmet code. So do form, and if you don't have Emmet, you can just type the HTML when I show you. Now inside of there, we want, I don't want to type the HTML because I'm lazy, input, and then P, and then we want times 3. Boom. Uh-oh, is that wrong way around? I'm silly, sorry. P, and then input, which should work. Form, P, input, perfect. Okay, so type equals text, type equals text, type equals submit. If you guys don't have Emmet installed, that's not working, leave a comment, Google it. I'll help you, or just type out this HTML by yourself if you really despise Emmet or you're new to HTML. So, as you can see, we have a form. We actually learned about forms in this episode, where we learned about how to use the forms, which was cool. But in this episode, we are going to actually do something with them rather than just create them. So, to do that, we need to give every single input a name so we can access it with PHP. So we have this type here. We also need to give everything a name. So to do, I'm going to create multiple cursors if you have Sublime. To do that, you can hold Control and just click wherever you want to create another cursor. And now we just need to say name equals quote quote, and there you go. So now we need to give each element a name. So the first element, which was our text, we're just gonna say username. Username. The second one is password. Now we're using a text field. We should be using a password field, but whatever. We'll get to that in a minute. And then name equals login. That's just what we're using here, right here for this button. It's a submit button. We're just gonna call it login. So that's how you do that. And now we need some form attributes. So we're gonna ignore this action for now. We don't even need it. So we've got our form. Now we need a new attribute, and this is called method. And we're gonna set it equal to, there are two things you can put in here. You can put get and post. You're gonna put in, just for now, get until you understand it. So method equals get, and now we need to use this here. So get and post are the ways we send data to our web pages. And when you click the submit button, it doesn't look like it and it doesn't say anything. But what happens is the page right here, this web page, when the submit button is clicked, let me just save it and refresh so you can see. So when the submit button is clicked, data from these two boxes is submitted to the web page, and sort of refreshes the page. That way the new web page can read all the data and can do stuff with it, which is pretty cool. And the way get works is it uses the URL. So when this button is clicked, it takes whatever's in this box, and whatever's in this form, dumps it straight into the URL, refreshes the page with this new URL, and then the page can use whatever's in this URL to display data. So now we're going to learn how to use the URL to display data, which is way easier than it sounds. So whenever we click that, we create a new array, And that array is called the get array. And now there are a few different kinds of arrays. These are managed by like the server and your session to the server and the page itself. And the one we're going to be learning about is called get, which is $_ get. And that is how you write it out. And it's an associative array of different things that were in the text box. So if you want to access something in this array, you put $get, and now you have to put your quotation marks and the name of whatever you want to access. And the name is always going to be the same as right here, what we defined in here. So let's actually put this into practice and use it. So we'll say question PHP username. Oh no, we'll echo this out. Echo. We don't even need the quotations. We'll say $_get. And this is _get in all capitals. Post is the same way, and session and server and cookie is somewhere in there. So we're just gonna do that. So name equals username, and there we go. So we're gonna see if this works out here. So $get and then username. Now let's just put in a username. Chicken. Yep, chicken man. There we go. And if we just submit that data, it should go. Yep, there we go. So what happens is this form, when the button's clicked, it takes the data from this form right here, throws it straight into the URL, and redirects us to this URL. The page looks on the page. It looks for something in the associative array, which is gathered from the URL, with the name or the key of chicken man, or the key of username, and then whatever is in the value, it echoes it out. And that's pretty cool. That's really easy how you do it, which is a lot of technical talk. And when you start getting into it, you don't even think about really how it works, because it's not that important to you after a while, as you get further and further, which is pretty cool, because you'll be just doing this without even thinking about it. So one thing we're going to do is, where we have this password, we're going to change it from text to password. And if we refresh the site and we start typing in here, we get an actual password there, which is cool. So to use this, we're gonna echo something out to the user. So we're gonna say echo hello, comma, and now we're going to use we're gonna call on the get, and we do not use these. If you use those, you will break your site, and you will get a T_string white space thing. So do not use quotes inside of the box right there, the square brackets. So we need to say hello username. Oh no. Uh-oh. Here we go. Username. And now we need a comma again, because it's a direct address. Hello username. Your password is, now you should never state the user's password, but we're gonna do it anyway because we're getting it going bossa nova. So $_get password. That's too long to be password. There we go. So now if we, oh no, I made the mistake of doing that and almost caused myself an error. Save the page, see what we get. And now if we, obviously, we don't put anything in there, so it gets confuzzled. That's beautiful right there. Potato. So we run this. Hello, your password is potato, which is awesome. And now if we run this, my password, hello Fox Army, your password is F. And now F is just my password for everything. I want you guys to go hack all my accounts with the password F, because it's really just how you make magic happen. So yeah, 1 character passwords for the win. So that's how you use get. The problem though is the URL thing, because if we go up here and look at the URL, it just looks like a normal URL at first. Test.php question username equals the Fox Army and password equals F and login equals submit. That's a problem, because we don't want to show our user's password in the URL. I mean, that's like a dead giveaway, especially if you're if you're elite and you guys know how to ARP spoof, with Kali, like you know how to ARP spoof and get all the users' data submitted to you, with something like that, especially if your website doesn't have HTTPS or your clients are using Internet Explorer, you're going to get destroyed. It's going to be like fatality because you can see the password and URL. That's not good. And that's just a dead giveaway for anyone. So instead of doing that, we're going to be learning about a new method of sending data, and I already talked about this briefly, and it's called post. So we can change the method up here to post. And now the way post works is it doesn't send data through the URL. It's sending it along with like the request redirect thing, which redirects your page to the new page, or in this case just refreshes the page. So we don't want to use get for something like that because we don't want the users to see it. We want to use post. And post I usually use more for things like logins. I use get for like searching. Like I'll show you a good and not very well known example of posting things. So if we go to this weird website called google.com, I don't even know what a Google is, and we're just going to Google where is a chicken found in nature. So if we Google that and chicken Wikipedia. Now if we look up here at this URL, this URL right here, we can see search equals question. Just like up here how we have test.php question, we can see search user question, safe, off. So safe search is off, and cite equals question at source, and then Q equals where plus is plus a plus chicken plus found plus in plus nature and OQ, whatever. I don't really know how Google works. I don't expect you guys to either. Is that like looks like an IP address or something? I don't know what this weird site is. But yeah, that's it. But that's why you use get for searches and things like that on your website, or like finding things for a user. I use post though for sensitive data that you don't want anyone to see without unless they ARP spoof you or something, or some other kind of method of gaining access to the router and stealing the data. But yeah, so post. Now we need to change these to post because we're going to be getting data from post, not get. So $_post. And now that would technically still work, submitting data through the URL because that's up there. So go ahead and just redo the URL here. Actually, we may not have to if we run that. Yeah, okay, just delete everything in this URL so that way the website doesn't get confused. And as you'll notice, error because we're not checking anything, but if we submit, hello the Fox Army, your password is F. Perfect. Now we want to stop that error real quick, and that's a simple fix. We're going to be learning about a new thing called iSet, or isSet, or however you want to say it. So we're just gonna cut this for now, so right click and go cut if you want to. And now we want to say if, and we want to say iSet, and now var, and the variable we want is $_post, and now we have to give it the name of our submit button, and we called it login. And now the reason what this means is if the button was pushed, we want to do something. So if we push the submit button, we need to do something so we can stop getting that error, because we get this error because the website is expecting data to already be there. And that is problematic. Also, why are we still using this this wonky? Let me just refresh here and get rid of this URL because that shouldn't still be up here. Boom. Okay. PHP. Boom. And if we push the button, there we go. Okay. So nothing happens. So we just I just didn't save. So now if we do this, so if we run if the button is pushed, we want to echo this out because we can get rid of that error. And the error basically was there because there was no data submitting to post because we didn't submit it yet. So the page gets confused. So if we run this code now, submit, hello, the Fox Army, your password is F. Because when we push the button, this becomes true. It's basically, I didn't really touch on this, but if we just put a Boolean condition in here, it's the same thing as saying if that is true, and run that, boom. So that is the same thing as just putting a condition in there. I didn't talk about that. I probably should have. And that's how that works. And if you want to do that without having to say equals false, you can put an exclamation point over it. So if exclamation point means not, so if not I set, echo that out. So if that's not submitted yet, then run that, but that's not important right now. So that is how that works. Now I'm just going to give you a short little example. And we have this data right here inside our man page, index.html. We want to actually do something with it. So to do that, we're going to have to, of course, in our form, before you put in our method, we have to learn about a new attribute called action. And now action basically just tells the page where to redirect. And we want the page to redirect to test.php. So if we just call that test.php, and now we have to give it a method. So action equals test.php, and method equals, we have to give it a method, which is post. So what this does is it says, hey, we're going to send some data somewhere via the post method. Where we're going to send it to is test.php. So this data is going to go from this page to this page, and then this page is actually going to process it. So now we just have to give everything a name attribute. So if we just click here, and then hold control and click here, hold control and click here. That's not how you do it. And then hold control and you click here. Boom, we can say name equals quote quote. And now in here we can of course just start giving them names. So this one, let's put name. And now, let me get rid of all these cursors, but I just did that because it was faster. Now, inside of here, of course, is age. So we'll say name equals age, and then we'll say name equals job instead of occupation, because that's easy to mess up. And now, life story, we're just going to put bio, because life story is a long thing to type. So, and then submit, of course, we need, I forgot about this one, name equals input data. So we'll just underscore input underscore data. You want to use underscores whenever you need to space names in your names. You don't want to put spaces, and you don't want to put it all together. So that's how you do that. So type equals submit, all that, and just make sure you have all that data set up. And now we need to go into our actual test.php where we're going to receive the data. So we can just get rid of this because that's not important. And now what we need to say is if set var, the var we need is $_ post. And now we're not going to use this login. What we're going to use is input underscore data. And I think that's what we put over there. So if they push that button, if they push the button on the Dink Forms page, we're gonna actually process the data here. So what we need to say is echo hello capital hello $_ post. And no, don't use these. So if $_ post username, so we're gonna say hello username. You are $_ post age, and you work as a $_ post job, and then we're gonna put a period. You once told me quotation marks. Actually, don't use quotation marks. That'll break the entire thing. yeah, you can do, we'll just do apostrophes even though this isn't proper English because I don't feel like escaping. So you once told me $_post. Inside of here, we can just put our bio, and I'm gonna break the line. So /, and now this should take all the data from the Dank Forms page and put it here and process it and do all that cool stuff. So if we go back into our just /form, it'll take us to our Dank Forms. And now if we just push this submit button. Just a second, guys. What did I miss? Okay, scrubs, I figured out the problem because I am a scrub as well. So if you have this form / you need to have it, you don't want to just do /form because the website gets confused or something. You need to do /form / index.php. And if you do that, not PHP, .html. I knew that. HTML, boom, index.html. So if you click this submit button right here, it'll take you to this page, which has an error because I forgot to change this from name to username. Also, I forgot to add the parentheses, so add the parentheses because that's critical. And we're also going to add this, just in case there's no data submitted. We don't want them to see nothing. We want to add something, so we want to say else echo no data to display. So, boom. So we want to say hello post name, not username, because username is not what we used. And if we save that, and we go back here, and we click this button, it should take us to that website, which actually works. Hello, Nicholas Coca-Cola. You are 93 and you work as a garbage man. You once told me this text is a text area. That is truly inspiring quote by Nicholas Kage, or Nicholas Coca-Cola. So I hope you guys have learned a ton of stuff. If you haven't, slap the dislike button. Tell me I'm a scrub in the comments. If you have learned a ton, like the video and subscribe for more dank content. Until next time, I will see you scrubs never.